You're a white male! So? You're a white man!
Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
White
Welcome to the new world.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. This is literally a true story, and it is why I don't listen to any new music anymore. The music industry is a joke, manufactured, lifeless, skillless, and I'm talking about mainstream, obviously. There are a lot of indie bands out there, smaller bands that still are on the grind doing their basement shows and things like that, although these days are a little more difficult. But I mean, look, here's a gripe I have. I thought a band named Pinegrove they were just on the verge of really, really getting popular. And then it turned out that, shockingly, the lead singer hooked up with some fans. Like, that was the whole story. And then the band itself got canceled. What? Like, look it up. Their latest record flopped because, everyone's like, oh my God, the lead singer banged some fans. This is not okay anymore. Gene Simmons has, 5,000's his number? What is going on with music? And this is Hollywood woke culture run amok. 3 Grammy nominees decline their own nominations because they're white. I'm not kidding. 3 of the acts nominated to receive the 2021 Best Children's Album Grammy have declined nominations because of all 5 nominated acts in the category are white. Alistair Mock, Doggone Fleas, and the Okie Dokie Brothers have all declined their... You make children's music, all right? Sit down. Now, some PR person told them that, they would get more pub doing this than losing. I'm guessing that they probably weren't going to win. But Mook, who writes songs about American heroes, such as Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King Jr., says that he would not like to win a Grammy. Or, I'm sorry, that while he would like to win a Grammy, he does not want it like this, after the playing field's not even. Now, it isn't... This is... Obviously, this is... I'm sure you're laughing. Smash like if you're laughing now. This is the modern day musician, soyzician. It's like there isn't any possibility that all 5 of these artists are white in a children's music category. I'm sorry. What about in rhythm and blues section? Are you mad if it's not equally diverse? There should be, let's say, black folks are let's say round up and say 20% of the population. That means 1 in 5 should have been a black nomination. So that means 4 out of the 5 nominations in the rhythm and blues section or soul section should be white. Is that where we're headed? Or do we want to award the best music? Now, of course, the Grammys are a great source of hilarity for us. So as we saw Ricky Gervais eviscerating these fools, and it will continue to be a hilarious source of woke culture. But the article continues. After this year, to have an all-white slate of nominees seemed really tone-deaf, Mook said. Yeah. You should have just thrown somebody in based on their skin color, not based on their abilities, right? Is that what he's saying? Joe Mailander, one of the Okie Dokie Brothers, said that his group thought that it was the strongest thing we could do to stand with people of color whose albums are too often left out of Grammy nominations. These people. This is not just white guys with guitars playing for kids. We want to welcome all different types of music to this community, he continued. What? The three acts all sent a collective letter to the Recording Academy, the organization which runs the Grammys, stating that they couldn't in good conscience benefit from a process that has historically overlooked women and... The modern day musician is an absolute joke. Absolute joke. The two other nominees for the award expressed their support for the decisions of the other three acts, although did not themselves drop out. They're like, yeah, we got a 50-50 shot of winning. I mean, what? After this year, to have an all-white slate of nominees seemed really tone-deaf. What about it was tone-deaf exactly? I don't understand. Look, these people's logic, and I'm talking about like social justice morons, okay? You know why they did this? This is why. Because they got their video here. The Okie Dokie Brothers. All right? Children's music. Imagine that's your profession. I mean, no disrespect, but you write children's music. Take your Grammy and shut up about it. What did Gervais say? Thank your God and sit back down. The idea that this logic is so full of fallacy that it's impossible to really explain to normal people. This is where they're coming from, okay? We want X percentages of non-white and non-male people in every category. What is that percentage? We don't really know. You ask, do you want it to mirror what we see in society right now? So let's say I think African Americans are like 17, 18%. Let's just say 20. So if you'd say, well, should 1 in 5 be enough? They'll say, well, that's not enough. And you say, well, how much is enough? Well, more. Okay, well then how many women are enough? And will you then want white people nominated again in R&B and soul and rap music, other traditionally black categories? Are you upset if they're all black? Well, no. Well, see, that seems odd. And all this is also built on the hilarious fallacy that skin color matters when you're writing music or doing a job. It doesn't. The idea that, now, if you want to argue that whoever is nominating these people aren't nominating the best 5 for the category, I'll listen to that argument. But that's not the argument they're saying. They're just saying, well, we want more colorful people in the nominations, but what if they're not the best? What if they're not qualified? What favors are you doing to, let's say, a black artist by nominating them for a Grammy when they aren't deserving of it? Or a white artist, let's say in a rap category, or an Asian artist in a, I don't know, heavy metal, although there are Asian heavy metal bands. But you get what I mean. When you, well, come on, Herman Lee, right? But anyway, you do no good for the product. You water it down, and that's how you end up with pop music. Stale, boring, formulaic music like WAP, which is about being a whore. I don't know. I mean, it's not about being a strong, independent woman who don't need no man like they try to say it is. And by the way, that goes the same for men who sing about like banging chicks too. It's boring, vapid, pointless. And what it does is it leads to worshiping of that particular culture and ends up with extraordinarily high teen pregnancy rate and single mothers all over the place because it's cool. It's awesome to be, to have loose morals. Apparently it's empowering to have loose morals. Sorry. I went off on a rant. Anyway, to these 3 white virtue signalers, I hope it was worth it. You're dumb. You should have won your award and then used the time on stage to do something, or maybe invite some color into your band. How about that? You know, if you're the Okie Dokie Brothers, why don't you bring a black member into your band? Oh, you don't want to do that? You don't want the the darkies to ruin your band. You'd rather just virtue signal about them. I mean, you could always, if you're a two-piece, you could always add a third musician if that's what you're worried about. But they're not really worried about that, are they? They just want the likes and retweets. So enjoy your attention. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.